The other thing that I want to talk about is the rain for a second. And like, look, I laugh at those kind of things normally. Like, oh, player X can't play in the rain. Like Tim Lincecum, remember the long Timmy can't pitch in the heat in Washington. It's like, shut up. That's so dumb. There is something now because this is multiple games. Purdy in the rain. I don't know if it's the glove, no glove. I don't know if it's if his arms aren't big, hands aren't big enough. I don't know what it is.
Do they practice during the week with wet footballs?
They were talking about that during the broadcast. And
they don't practice with wet footballs?
No. And
why not?
Greg Olson was saying, like, sometimes you'll get 10 minutes a week of throwing with a wet ball, compared to the rest of the time practicing, and Shanahan doesn't believe in it and blah, blah. I think you might need to start if you know it's going to rain, and it's rained for weeks on end in the Bay Area, and you're at home, you should kind of have a feel for the rain, right? Like, am I tripping?
Purdy found a way in the rain, but I'm not going to sit here all morning and say, oh boy, he just can't play in the rain and chalk it, because guess what? In the future, you may have to go to Green Bay,
what I'm saying,
Chicago, New York, Philadelphia. You're going to Washington. Who knows? Seattle. There's places that rain. In the Bay Area, folks, guess what? It rains. I can't buy this thing that, he can't play in the rain, so now we got a specialist at quarterback? No, he's got to figure it out in the elements. You got to figure it out.
But there is something to, like, and again, I'm not, like, losing my mind over it, but, like, this is now multiple games in the rain where his accuracy has not even been close to what we're accustomed to seeing. Like, that was the big thing with me.
Right.
We can harp on decision making. The accuracy was nowhere near what I expect from Brock Purdy.
No, it wasn't there. And I don't know how much of a factor the rain was in terms of the accuracy, but I'm not here to buy that excuse.
Okay.
You figure it out. I'm watching all these quarterbacks all around the league in these playoffs throwing inclement weather, cold weather. Guys are throwing dimes in 15 below. 0 degrees. It was wind chill. Winds were blowing left and right, 20 to 30 miles an hour.
It looked very cold for Lamar.
Yeah, I'm not here to say that this guy can't play in the rain. I don't want to buy that. I pay you at quarterback. You're my quarterback. I expect you to play in all weathers, in all types of weather. All right? I'm not buying that. Let's go to Carl in Fremont. Carl, what's happening? Carl, you there? Oh, you gone. Let's go to Manny on the DeBarton Bridge.
Hey, Manny.
Hey, good morning, fellas. Long time no chat, man, but what a hell of a game that was. I was getting kind of annoyed at some of the guys that I was watching it with because they were saying, the Niners are going to get what they get. I was like, come on, man, you got to stay faithful. But that being said, here's my theory on why Brock looked like he was off all night. He got spooked early, man. When Savage almost took it in for the pick six, I think that might have rattled his brain somehow. Because if you look at the body language right after that throw, it took him a while to get his groove back on, but he got it when it counted, like we've been saying all day long. That being said, he needs to have a lockdown game from kickoff to the end of the whistle. The one thing that I'm really concerned about, I know it's all in the back of our minds, is like, what are we going to do about Ambry? I mean, he straight up mugged everybody that came his way, and against Amon St. Brown and even Porta or
Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
They got, who is it? Reynolds? Yeah. They got some ballers over there.
All of those guys, man. We gotta put Commodore 64 back in on that side and have him play inside, man, because we can't have that kind of performance. That's what got us cooked early and often. That's what got us behind the 8-ball. It wasn't the fluke fumble or anything like that. It was, if you look at it, that game should not have gotten the way it was if Ambry played solid. And so I'm really worried about that.
All right, good call. Hey, good call, man. As you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMG FM and AC1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. Don't forget, you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. Brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union, a smart choice for low auto loan rates, a super simple online application process. Sellers of Comcast Business Text Line, as well as a Monster Monday, brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. So Manny brought up 2 things. One, Ambry Thomas. Yeah, he's a problem. And he's a concern. He's got to play better. All right, that's all I like. You're playing off and giving up 8-yard routes. You're giving up 10-yard routes. You're not playing physical at all. Ambry Thomas has got to step up his game. But he also brought up the Brock Purdy, the early Jimmy O'Neill throw that he made to Darnell Savage. And Darnell Savage made that play the week before against Dallas. That football hit him right in the heads. He's going the other way for a pick six. It's 10-0, Green Bay. But fortunately for all Niner fans and for Brock Purdy, Darnell Savage dropped the ball. But Manny said something there, saying maybe Brock got a little hesitant after that throw. And I can subscribe to that. Because all of a sudden in the football game like that, these playoff games, Trey Aikman always talks about it, Bill Cowher, Boomer Esiason, all of a sudden you start worried about, boy, I don't want to be the guy to turn the ball over. Boy, I can't throw that again. Boy, I'm a little gun shy. I don't want to throw a pick, so maybe I'll throw it at somebody's feet or throw it at somebody's legs. Manny may have a point there that Brock did get a little gun shy there after that near pick six.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. He did make an unbelievable throw to George Kittle on the move. That was over the top, and you would think maybe he would take more of a check down throw if he was a little worried about that. He threw a couple of over the middle passes to Juwan Jennings. After that, I just think it was a roller coaster performance from him. You know, that's really what it was. And when push came to shove, fourth quarter, I mean, he delivered. And he delivered, and that's really all that matters, and they move forward. But there's no doubt, he can't play that sloppy with the ball. And that's the part that was the most uncharacteristic. Yeah. And, like, it's hard for me, like, the veneer of the Purdy thing. Like, I have been basically saying he's so much better than Jimmy, and I felt this way. And the effort that he's put on tape, so much better than Jimmy, so much better than Jimmy, so much better. But in this game, now, he had the drive that Jimmy has never had in the playoffs, but Jimmy had those drives in Week 18 against the Rams one year, in Week 17 against Seattle. I think we have selective memory at times.
The Saints?
We have selective memory on Jimmy because he didn't do it in a playoff game, and Purdy has now. He's done it in the Dallas game in the fourth quarter, delivered with some throws, and now he's done it in this one. And that is the separator between them. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that my confidence in Purdy is at the most shaken it's ever been. And I've been one of his biggest defenders. So, and it's just he didn't have a great game.
I'm going to go the other way with it, though. My confidence hasn't dissipated with Brock Purdy because of that performance. Because you know what? You mentioned something that Jimmy in the cold against Green Bay. I know everybody's going to say, well, he headed off to Debo. He threw one pass on the drive or whatnot. Look, they kicked the game with a field goal. They invested in the NFC title game. So Jimmy gets credit for that. But Brock deserves a lot of credit for having that type of performance. And to be able to compartmentalize everything that happened in the first three quarters and to wake up with 6.5 minutes left and lead that touchdown drive. I actually became a lot more confident in Brock Purdy because I'm thinking to myself, okay, everything was stacked against him. He was having a C- game, maybe a D+ game. He was not good. Trust me.
Him and Shanahan were having like D games, yes.
He woke up when we needed him to.
Yes.
He made plays when we needed him to. The third down, quick slant to Brandon Ayuk, there was nowhere to throw that football. He fitted it in. Hell, he hit George Kittle right in the numbers on second down. George Kittle dropped it. What about dropping it over on the out route to Collie there on the sideline? I've been waiting for him to throw it outside the numbers all game long, and he makes it happen on the final drive. So you know what? I'm a little more confident in Brock Purdy because he did bounce back when we needed him to. He didn't wilt under pressure. How many 49er quarterbacks I've seen throw picks in that situation or fumble the ball or not get their team in a position to score? He got them in position to score, and they're advancing to the NFC title game. And I'm trusting Brock Purdy to learn from all those mistakes in the first three quarters and be a lot better next week against a Detroit defense that I don't think they're as strong as Green Bay's defense whatsoever. Really? They give up a lot of yards. A lot of yards. Deep shots. Tampa Bay had their way. Tampa Bay, if you want to be real, Tampa Bay may have. Now, Jared Goff did his thing there in the second half, but I thought Tampa Bay left some meat on the bone there yesterday in Detroit. Okay.
Well, like, I do think baked into the whole Purdy equation, like, not having Debo is huge for him. Debo's a blanket for any quarterback. I mean, I felt like the whole entire game plan was centered around Debo Samuel. At least that's what my eyes felt like they were telling me. And when he stepped out of that game, I think the coach had a tough time deviating from the scheme that he had worked so hard all week on. I thought the quarterback was throwing to guys that maybe he didn't have the same rapport with. And also, maybe there was some rust.
Right.
Like, they hadn't played for a month, it felt like.
Right.
And it looked like they hadn't played for a month. The timing clearly was off. I think Green Bay gets a lot of credit for causing that timing to be off. I think the rain's a factor. There's a lot that goes into it. So, look, again, I'm not saying that the sky is falling and I don't trust Purdy at all, but, like, I'm just saying my confidence in the guy, which was sky high,
you're a little panicky.
the veneer is slightly off.
Yeah,
The polish could come back.
He sounded a little edgy this morning, Shasky.
It wasn't a great performance from him or the coach. Like, the coach frustrated me in that game. Hand the ball off to CMC.
Morelli, Bonte, what about his scramble in the final play to pick up 8 yards?
That was a great run.
Brock Purdy, great decision-making right there. Great decision-making. It's all good. It's all good. The Niners are going to the NFC title game, 4th time in the last 5 years. I'm going to celebrate that.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to clean some things up. Yeah, I know. Hey. I don't know about that.
Now
over there across, we'll get me started over there, silver and black.
You talked about like the final 2 minutes, and I don't know if this is coach. I don't know if this is quarterback. I don't know if this is organizational philosophy. Like the entire 2-minute drill, 1 minute drill now, but like it left a lot to be desired. And I don't understand their allocation on timeouts. You know, Shanahan for 3/4 of the year, maybe 5/6 of the year, brilliant at scoring before halftime, getting the ball back and scoring again. He was brilliant all year. In this game, you know, it's 3rd down with a minute to go. They're at the 42-yard line. They let 32 seconds off the clock and then call a timeout.
Yeah, it didn't make no sense.
Like, just run the play.
Just run the play and get the first down and then call timeout.
Exactly.
I get it. And I didn't like it.
Me neither, all right? And then on 2nd and 1, they throw a check down after burning 2 timeouts essentially back-to-back. They throw a check down to CMC, and then they spike the ball with 30 seconds. Run a play. It's 2nd and 1. Give yourself the 2 chances, 2nd and 3rd down, to either get a first down or get a touchdown. I don't know, man. You basically walked out with no points because of a blocked field goal, and you still had a timeout in the back pocket.
You didn't score after halftime as well, so you did double up.
Yeah, the 3 and out.
Double up. You had a 3 and out right after halftime, so Shanahan got tight. We can talk about that as well. Shanahan did get tight in this football game. You can't get tight against Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell lets everything loose. That Detroit team plays so loose. They're aggressive. Shanahan, I think for the most part this season, has been aggressive. But boy, Saturday night, he was tight. Got to wake up, Shetty.